Now we're coming to layers. Now in Photoshop or graphics is a combination of different layers against themselves. Now we have the first one here, which is, we can see it written as layer 01, is our basic layer that we have. Now, one good programming practice we should always keep in mind is whenever we come to our Photoshop tool, we should always make sure the move tool is selected at all times. That way, we don't make unnecessary changes to our work. Now, we have a layers. What can be done to a layer? We have this eye here by the right here. This eye is to turn off a layer or turn it on. We have this padlock symbol here. This one helps us to lock the layers. If you don't want it to move, we can lock the layer. Now we also have down here, we have the delete button. It's disabled because this is the only layer and a Photoshop cannot exist without a layer. So let us say I go ahead and right click and click on duplicate layer and change it to, instead of layer 0 copy, I change it to layer 1 and click on OK, and we have layer 1 and layer 0 here. I can go ahead and choose to delete this layer. Now we see that whatever layer we are working on or whatever layer that is active, once we click it, is the one that is going to be highlighted. We can choose layer 1. Layer 1 will be the one highlighted. Let me go and change the background color for this layer. If I want to change the background color for this area, there's some shortcuts that I can use. I can use Shift and Backspace. If I press down my Shift and Backspace, it brings up a field that says, what do we want to change it to? Do we want to change it to the foreground color or the background color? Or do we want to choose a color we want it to be? Or do we want to change it to a pattern, or black or white or gray? If I go ahead and cancel this for a moment and I come down to this right place here where we have this black and white. Yeah, hope you can see my mouse. We have this black and white here. Now what this shows us the background or the layers that are chosen. Now we see that the black layer is in front of the white layer, which means that the white layer is the foreground and the black layer is the foreground. Foreground means which background or which color is going to be used first, while the white one shows that it's the background color. Now to switch between two colors and make another one the foreground and the background, we can come to this arrow here, click on it, it switches. We can also choose to change whatever color it is by clicking on the color and coming to opening our color panel here. Let's choose this and click on OK, and that automatically makes it the background color. Now if you come back to our layer here, select the layer and click on our Shift Backspace, and we say we want it to take the foreground color, and we click on leaving all these other ones and we click on OK. What happens? It changes to the color. Now that is one good way of changing background colors, right? So we change the color to this color. If we want it to change to the background color, we switch sides, make this the background color or make it the foreground color, and we go again, click on the layer, Shift Backspace, choose background color, click on OK. It changes to black because black is the background color that was selected. So that is one method of changing background colors or background. Alright, another way of changing background color is by coming to the edit here, edit menu, and we come to the edit menu, we can scroll down, we'll see the fill. to fill the layer, click on fill. It brings us to the same option. So coming through edit and fill does the same thing the backspace and shift does, but I prefer to use more of the shortcut because it's faster to navigate. And you can come here and change the color again to something reddish. Click on OK, click on OK, and we have it like this. Now note that this doesn't affect the background and foreground color because that is predefined. This only affects the layer color and the layer style. So, and the layer can also, the eye here can also be used to switch off a layer or turn it on, right? If we want to work on a layer and we don't want it to be, we don't want it to be visible, or you want to hide it for now, we can click to turn it on or turn it off. Okay, so we can lock the layers like I've explained in the first place. Locking the layer means the layer cannot be moved about, and if this layer is locked, it means that any layer that is underneath it is the one that is going to be moved about. We can see from here that the position of the blue has changed. If I block this layer, we see that this layer has been moved around in so many places. So let me try and move it back. Now, can we see these red lines around it? That was the thing we did when we came to view and said it should show smart guides, right? These are smart guides that helps you to know that, okay, you are already at the edge of the work, you are at the middle, you are behind, and helps to guide your work as you move it around. So let's say we have an image you want to place on this design. We have an image you want to place. Simply we go to our file. Let's say we want to put, I have this image. Okay, let's say I have this image of this beautiful girl I want to place on that place. I simply open my browser or open my file explorer, navigate to where the image is, click the image. Once there is, click it and drag it all the way to Photoshop. And once I drag it here, I release it. Once I release, it loads and the image is added. Now we can see these different arrows that are here on it, right? They are used to they are used to tell us the dimension and the borders. You can choose to increase this one or reduce it. We can choose to increase it, right? We can choose to draw it any way we want. With our move to selected, we can, sorry, let me go back and highlight that. With our move to select, we can move it any direction we want. Now we can move it any direction we want. Now let's say this is small this way, and once it's select like this and you want to place the image, you can either come to the top right here and use this button of tick, or you can just press enter. And now as you are moving, we can see our smart site telling us that this is the middle of the page. If I move it this way, it's showing that this is the middle of the page. If I draw it down a little bit, it's telling us that this image is going to be placed in the middle, exactly in the middle below of it, or the middle above of it. So it helps us to direct our image. If we have two of these images, if we have another image we want to bring, let's say we want to bring this image also, bring Photoshop, drop it, come to the edge here and drag it down to resize it, click on enter, and we click on this and move it, it's telling us that, oh, okay, they are on the same edge with this image, they're on the same edge with the right or the left top or whatever it is, and it helps to snap the image to the grid of the next one. So we have it that way, and that is the move tool. That is what the move tool can do. Now, to select an image, to edit it, once you click on the image, let's say I drag to the middle and I want to resize it, maybe make it bigger or smaller, what do I click on? I click on Ctrl T or Command T for Mac users. I click on Ctrl T. Once I click on Ctrl T, it brings out this border. And what can you do? You can choose to adjust it. Now, adjusting it this way makes it goes only to the left. If I adjust it this way, it makes it go to the right and down left, sorry. This way, if I come and adjust it this way, it comes down right. What if I want it to adjust evenly, right? I want it to adjust from the middle and spread evenly. I click on my, depending on the Photoshop you're using, I click on my Alt key because I'm using Microsoft 2021. Click on my Alt key. If you are using CS6, it can be Control, it can be Shift Alt. Click on Shift Alt, it will help you to zoom it. Okay, mine is not too evenly because I can tamper with the shape and size. That is because for me, Shift Alt doesn't work, but Alt works. So if you check your Shift Alt and it doesn't work because of your Microsoft version and your Photoshop version, you can also try using Alt key to do that. You can also try using Alt. So if I use my Alt and I click on it, you see it's going to distribute it evenly across the page. So that is also how to make your design element go across the page. Alright, so I drop it down here. Let us say I want to make it bigger, my choice, my design choice, and let me Command T, Alt, and reduce this and bring it to the edge here. I say I want it to be by the edge here. Okay, now also another thing again that is good again to work with, which I'm telling you, is to use your ruler. Now if we go to the edge here and just click anywhere and drag, we can see a line coming, and this line forms like a ruler for us. So we can choose to say if we want to have an heading, we can also bring another one down and say, okay, we want to have an heading and we want whatever we want to write to be within this line. We can also come to the side here and drag and say, okay, we want our images or whatever we're writing to not pass here. You can also come and say, okay, whatever we're writing or starting with also shouldn't pass here, and whatever we're adding shouldn't pass here. So it can help to guide you on how to make your arrangement of your file. Okay, so on how to make the arrangement of your file. Alright, so we can also come here to a layer. What is another shortcut for duplicating a layer? Instead of right clicking and coming to duplicate, we can just press Ctrl J. Ctrl J immediately duplicates the layer, and to rename a layer, you can just come and click once on the layer name, and you see, okay, twice rather on the layer name, and it opens up where you can say testing layer and click enter. It renames the layer for you, and it's good to have your layers named so you can know what you're doing there and it can be easy for you to navigate and find it. Alright, so I'll be locking this layer and I'll be removing this layer. So to delete a layer, simply you can choose to hold the layer and drag it all the way to this bucket down here, this delete bucket, and drop it, or you can choose to just since you have clicked on it, just click delete and the layer gets deleted.